Hello, welcome. Welcome to the post-apocalypse. This is the inaugural episode of Series Two's post-apocalypse world. It's a short, kind of 1 hour deal that I do every week to keep up on all of my GM business for Apocalypse World. So for those of you who are familiar with Apocalypse World, like kind of generally, here, let me show you. Let me show it to you. Here, give me a second here. What we do with Apocalypse World is we walk through a series of sort of updates and modifications to the things that are going on in the world. There we go. That are going on in the world of our game, and we use the game's tools, which are to say threats, and this new map thing to figure out kind of what's going on in the game, and we ask questions. This isn't a prep session in the sense that we're like building the world so much as it is asking questions that we want to answer in play. You'll see the details of that in just a second. But if you want to see how this worked in first edition, that show that we did, our first Apocalypse World show, it contained all of that information. Every episode there was a post-apocalypse to go with it. So we're going to do the same with this series. It's important, I think, to play this game and to use its tools and to work them out. So if you are familiar already with Apocalypse World, you'll know the big difference in prep is this map. We use this threat map, I guess it's called. And the threat map helps me figure out where things are in metaphorical or literal relation to the PCs. So we put the PCs and their resources smack dab in the middle, and then we figure out where everything else is, either literally or metaphorically. And if it's moving, we track the ways in which it's moving. So yeah, we're going to do that today. Now there's some specific stuff that we need to do on the very first session, which is to say a couple of threats that have to be made, and then we'll look and see if there's room for or time for other threats as we go. So let's start doing that. Let's just get right into it. I believe in learning by doing. So let's take a look at our threats. So what I've done is I've created a bunch of threats just on the blank page here. And I started filling in ones that I thought I would use, but I'm actually going to go ahead and we're going to come back to all this stuff, because the first threats that we need to make, let me walk through these threats for you. So the first, these are called the essential threats. So where the PCs are, we create as a landscape. It's a kind of threat. For any PC gangs, we create them as brutes. Nobody has a gang, so we can skip that one. For the PC's other NPCs, create them as brutes, plus a grotesque and or a wannabe warlord. So we add in a grotesque and a warlord as necessary. For any of the PC's vehicles, of which there are none, we would create them as vehicles. For any local populations, we're going to create an Affliction. And what kind of threat is the world's psychic maelstrom? So let's start. I guess I'll start by giving us. Let's zoom in a little here, and we're gonna go through this list. So, where the PCs are created as a landscape. So the PCs are in a couple of places. They're in Temple Town, right? So we know that they're in the Temple Town. The PCs are also in the temple itself. And I think that's good for now, right? We're going to deal with the bar, but I don't think the bar is a landscape just yet. So, Temple Town, we're instructed to make the places the PCs are landscapes. So we do that, create a landscape for each one. Okay. For the PC's other NPCs, because there's no gang, we create them as brutes, plus a grotesque and or a wannabe warlord. So let's see who the PC's NPCs are. Right? We've got the regulars. Ba, Litz, Toyota, and Fam. We've got the Water Cult, right? Their main folks. So Kite, Porter, Gage, Ultraviolet, Melody. And then we've got the like specific characters. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to stick with the specific ones for now. And I'm just going to detail some of the ones that we talked about or saw, because I don't want to make threats for all of them right now and hammer them all in. So we've seen Lamprey. So we're going to make lamprey one of them, right? Lamprey is worth a thread. He's a brute for sure. I guess this is a different size. So we'll do lamprey, big idiot lamprey, who is a brute. Okay, so there's lamprey, who's our brute. Let's see, who else do we need? We're gonna need Wall, who's a bouncer, also a brute, I think, for now at least. Oh, get back in there. There we go. So there's Wall, the bouncer. Okay, and Wall is also a brute. All right. And then let's detail... I mean, we have a bunch of characters that we don't really know anything about yet, like Bean and Rolf Ball. We've met Lissa and Nipperkin. We talked about Babylon, but I don't think they're ready to be... I think we can keep them on the map, but they're not quite ready yet. I do want to include Domino, and I do want to include Jeanette's gangsters. So let's make sure we do that. And then we got an Affliction. So actually, Jeanette's gang just includes Domino. So we're going to go Jeanette's gang. And we're going to do an Affliction. So we need to create an Affliction, which doesn't have a name or anything like that. So... an Affliction as yet determined, because Vincent says so, so we got to do it. Kind Affliction. Okay. All right, so we got our Affliction. So we could do the Maelstrom. I'm not ready yet. I don't want to jump in and start defining the Maelstrom. I'm much more interested in leaving it open for now. So we're going to go through these and we're going to detail them more specifically. So we'll start with Templetown. And for Templetown, let's see. To create a threat, we choose its kind, we name it, we copy over its impulse. Describe it and list its cast, if any. Place it on the threat map. If it's in motion, mark its direction. List its stakes question, if any. If it's connected to other threats, list them. If it calls for a custom move, create it. There are 7 kinds of threat. Templetown is a landscape. So let's see what kind of landscape Templetown is. Landscapes can be prisons, breeding pits, furnaces, mirages, mazes, or fortresses. So Templetown, to me, seems like... I feel like Templetown might be a mirage. So let's go with that. And a mirage has the impulse to entice and betray people. Okay, entice and betray people. There we go. Okay, so when I'm acting with Templetown, when I'm using Templetown, I'm going to have the impulse to entice and betray. And for right now, the description casts are just like the people of Templetown, starting with Bill, the mayor, and then Bill's kid. What do we call him? Princey? Is that his name? Did I not write Princey down? Ooh, okay. Yeah, I think that's his name. Let's try that. Okay, so Princey. An apprentice, but not really. He's just kind of okay at his job. But they're definitely, this is sort of the royal family of Templetown. Here we go. Cool. Oh, he is. Did I have him in here? He was below Bill. Yeah, Princey. Okay, I spelled it wrong, but that's fine. Nobody knows how to spell. Princey. Okay. Right. Prince of Templetown. Okay, so that's cool. That's them. I need to, let's see, list its stakes questions, if any. So what am I curious about Templetown? Let's see, what will make the town and temple go to war? because you know that's going to be a thing that might happen. And hold on. Oops. While trying to type, our GM closes his window. There we go. Smooth move, Adam. Smooth move. This is why we play these games and not first-person shooters. Okay, and then my second question is, how long until Bill and Jeanette make a deal? That's going to be part of her. That'll be part of her deal instead, or as well, because Jeanette is this sort of new military power in town. Let's see what else we got for this this one. We need to list if it's connected to any other threats. So Jeanette's gang. For now, but I'm sure there will be more. And then no custom moves or countdowns yet. It's still just like an ambient threat. And I'm going to need to make myself an X to move around on the map. So let's turn this one red and we'll change its size. And it is outside, but close. It's everywhere. Okay, cool. Yeah, I guess it's connected to the temple as well as a threat. Okay. Good. Temple Town. So the next threat is the temple. And the temple is also a location. It's a landscape. Is it a prison, a breeding pit, a furnace, a mirage, a maze, or a fortress? I think it's a maze. I think it's a maze, not a fortress. Andrew's character might disagree with me, but I am the MC and I get to make these calls. So it is a maze. You can get lost in that shit. And it is, impulse is to trap and frustrate passage. It is a series of dead ends and switchbacks. Description and cast. So the cast for it is the water cult. Nope, there we go. The water cult, and then also the ghosts, right? The ghosts. Ghost in the well. The ghosts in the well. Okay. Yeah, I'm into it. Okay, so there's them. Connected threats. I think that the ghosts will spin off to be their own threat, but for right now, Templetown is the connected threat. And the stakes are, what are the ghosts about? What do they want? How is the temple connected? I don't want the temple to be connected to the Maelstrom. We've done that whole maze Maelstrom bullshit thing. So in what ways does the temple combat the Maelstrom? I want to oppose. The ghosts of the temple and the Maelstrom are opposed to each other. Okay. I think that's cool. And I'm going to name a custom move, but I'm not going to do it here. So something about getting lost in the water. And we'll do that later. We'll make that happen as a future thing. Okay. Cool. Lamprey. Now, Lamprey is a person. Lamprey is the guy who gets beat up for money. And Lamprey is a brute. So, is Lamprey Is Lamprey a hunting pack? No. Is Lamprey a sybarite? An enforcer? A cult, a mob, or a family? No, Lamprey is Lamprey is definitely a sybarite. And a sybarite, such a great word. Sybarite's impulse is to consume someone's resources. Lamprey is there to consume. Cool. Okay. And then description and cast. Is Lamprey the best regular? Right. Okay. The best regular at Hit Me Up. A glutton for punishment. And a magnet for trouble. Alright. Good at getting his ass kicked and little else. So by design asked, how does that thread of the temples you just outlined connect to Brace's Maelstrom vision if they're opposed? I don't know. It's more of a question. I get to answer those questions as we go. It's a good question, but we'll learn it through play. The stakes are here. In what ways is Lamprey a liability? You know what? Fuck it. Let's go with more teeth on that. How is Lamprey going to fuck everything up for dice? That's more important. Okay. Ostensibly through his impulse, right, to consume someone's resources. So I think he just like absorbs everything everyone has to give. Oh, I didn't mark location on these ones. Okay. So the temple is also close but outside, and then the Lamprey is inside and quite close. Okay, perfect. Now Wall, who's another member of the cast of Hit Me Up, he is a brute as well, but I think he's an enforcer, right? Like that's a nice and easy one. So Brute the enforcer. And Brute's impulse is, or the enforcer's impulse is to victimize anyone who stands out. All right. A former member of Dice's gang, now bouncer. Is there my description? And the stakes question, I already know this one. Who is Wall going to kill? Going to be somebody important he shouldn't have. And then what loyalties does Wall still have to the gang? And then also, who does Wall hate most? And it's going to be somebody that Wall should probably not hate. Okay. Cool. Yeah, maybe Princey, may not. I don't know. We'll find out. And he is also close and inside. He's a bouncer. Actually, I guess he's outside because the bouncer stays outside. Okay, good. No, he's an employee. He's down. He's down and close. Yeah. I'm not sold on this map, to be honest, yet. I got to see it in play, but it doesn't feel like... Yeah, it doesn't feel like the same as the... I like fronts, but I'm also more comfortable with fronts. So give me some time. We'll all give ourselves some time. Cool. All right. Jeanette's gang. Now, Jeanette's gang I'm interested in because they're an external source of threat and violence. So let's figure out... Jeanette's gang is a gang. And they are... Let's see... The Warlord plus the gang. So this is really Jeanette and the gang. Formerly Dice's gang. And these people are... Let's see. Warlord. And what kind of warlord is Jeanette? Jeanette is... Oh, yeah, I figured this one out already. So, slaver, a hive queen, a prophet, a dictator, a collector, or an alpha wolf. She's an alpha wolf. So her impulse as an alpha wolf is... Let's see here. Her impulse as alpha wolf is to hunt and dominate. And members of the gang include to hunt and domino. Domino. We need to include... who else was in the gang? You know what? We'll include some names later as we meet more gangsters. But Domino is in there, and obviously Jeanette. Queen Wolf herself, Jeanette. All right, cool. And then my stakes question is, how is Jeanette going to put dice in her place? What did Jeanette find in the military base to arm her gang? And then also, like, why is Domino sick? What the fuck's that about? What's your problem, Domino? Okay. And I'm making a custom move, and this is like kind of an aggressive custom move, but I'm gonna go ahead and put this. So when you go aggro on Jeanette, don't pull the trigger or fuck off. So this is the kind of thing where you can change the rules, right? Like Jeanette, you can't go aggro on her. She doesn't respond to threats. You either kill her or just get the fuck out of here. Those are your options. So there you go. Custom move for Jeanette. Jeanette is, and her gang is to the west. I think we figured. Let's double check our map here. Yes. Yeah. Jeanette, the new alpha military base. Okay. That's all out west. Okay. And then the affliction that we need to make. I think the affliction is inside, but still far away. And the affliction, it's going to be in the temple. Something is going wrong at the temple. And an affliction at the temple is an affliction. And what's wrong at the temple? Let's figure out our affliction here. So it can be a disease. It can be a condition. It can be a custom. It can be a delusion. It can be a sacrifice or a barrier. So what's happening at the temple? I kind of like a custom to promote and justify violence. I think that there's some like alternate doctrine or whatever starting to spread about the water. Or disease is boring. We've done that. Yeah, delusion or a condition, or a delusion or a custom rather. Let's make it a custom. And the impulse here of a custom is to promote and justify violence. All right. So description and cast will be the afflicted. We don't know who is being afflicted by this new custom, but it's like a break in the law, right? Like, who originated the new custom? In what ways are they protected from Tynant? Because, you know, like, otherwise Tynant will just come home and be like, no, put a stop to this. And then, let's see how deep, what power backs the custom? You know, is it the Maelstrom? Is it ghosts? Is it what? And I guess also like one question, like what? Oops. Wow. Wow, that's the second time I've done that. I know how to use a keyboard, don't worry. There we go. Sorry, everybody. So I think the other thing here is going to be, and we can start filling out a clock for this one. What are the customs? Like, what are they? What are their details? And then for this clock, let's create a some smaller text here. I know this is really small. Let me zoom in. The customs are, let's see, someone is punished for violating the new customs. That'll be the first thing. And then the next thing is, out of fear, the populace begins to embrace the new way. I see this as Tynant having to struggle with like being the prophet, and the ghosts kind of like creating some sort of chaos. Yeah, I like that. Because I think what we're gonna do in our second, this might end up being the like focus of the second one, because we're gonna go back to the temple and we're gonna check that out. So I don't know, like if I need too much more. I do actually want to create one more. Let me go to the map layer. So each of these cards is like one thing that I've dropped on the map layer, and I just organize them on that map layer and then jump onto the transparency on top of them, the objects layer. I want to create another one for one more location for the Dying Grounds. So the Dying Grounds, as we're all super excited to find out about, the Dying Grounds, this is where the robots, the big like mining machines and like whatever, the industrial elephants go to die. So the Dying Grounds is a land, it could be a landscape. Okay, so terrain is a small and immediate piece of landscape. So terrain is like broken ground, shifting ground, and exposed place. They're for road wars and moving battles, so not this. So it is indeed a landscape. So we've got 3 landscapes now. And this kind of landscape, the Dying Grounds, is a breeding pit, ironically. And a breeding pit has the instinct or the impulse to generate badness. Okay, and then description and cast, the strange place where ancient machines have come to die. And all I know, okay, my stakes here is like basically just what the fuck is going on here? Like, it's probably has something to do with ghosts, but yeah, I don't know. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and the first thing is the Dying Grounds disgorge the first of the new beings. Now again, I don't want to go too hard on the like artificial like maelstrom things, so I'm gonna actually let's call it the first beast. We'll go for like a biblical like beast crawling up out of the ocean, Leviathan kind of thing. And I guess here, let's be more specific with our stakes questions. What is awakening the new beasts in the pit or in the Dying Grounds? And then yeah, actually I can just leave it at that. Why are there these things? So like something is going to emerge. It's going to be disgorged from this breeding pit. And for right now, this front is on our map, kind of out here somewhere, out east. Cool. So this early in the session, we have like broad general questions like what's going on, what's happening, what's the deal. We'll learn those as we go on. Some more general questions that I had. Where does the bar get its drink and drugs from? I think that's going to be really important in terms of like scarcity. Who fights, who else fights, who comes to worship the colossi. So I'm going to call this the beasts. Where's Dice's old gang? We know. Who maintains the highway? We're not sure yet. We'll learn more about Babylon. Who's the best fighter in Templetown? We'll figure that out. I figured out who Ferris's apprentice is. Yeah, what's the deal with Brace not having to do work? Like, how does Brace get away with, like, the law? Because Brace is going to get targeted, I think, by those new custom people. What is Rolf Ball owed? Why does Bean want in? There's a new drug in Templetown, so we'll include that maybe in a future bit when we come back to Templetown. Yeah, what's up with Domino's, like, darkness? Like, Domino's sick. How does the people power work? What's in the woods? What's up with Kite's family? Who's leaving the offerings? I'm going to be more specific for Ferris. Yeah, lots of little questions. Things that I don't intend to even think about answering now, but the idea that we learn all these things as we go is sort of the point. So these little sessions will vary in length, right? Sometimes they're short, sometimes they're longer. Really, they're just about asking the right questions and making sure we know what's coming up for the next session. So in the next session, I'm going to focus on the temple itself, and we're going to learn about that. And that'll sort of, it's almost to me feels like a session 1.5, not a session 2, because it's like the other important place, and we haven't seen it for a year. So let's go and check that out. So this episode takes place between episode 1 and 2. We'll have another one next Thursday that'll go between 2 and 3, and we'll just keep rolling them together like this every Thursday. So short and sweet. We'll see you at 11 o'clock Pacific time tomorrow for Apocalypse World, Series 2, episode number 2. Thanks for coming, everybody.